With the growing popularity of foundation training's 8-point plank, we're going to go through another series of 45 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. And then Dr. Goodman's going to give us a why it's so good for us. So let's get onto the mat. We're going to touch on one important detail before we get going. The legs are hip width apart. The arms are shoulder width apart. Your elbows are just in front of the shoulders. Both hands are on the ground, elbows are on the ground, knees stay on the ground, toes are on the ground. Really important. Watch Dr. Goodman first. He's going to look down between his elbows, watch his head and neck. He pulls his nose away from the floor, his throat, and he breathes big into the back of his rib cage. That's the start. And then rest back into it. Notice the compression as he collapses in. One more time, Eric. Looking down, he pulls his nose away from the floor, his throat away from the floor. He puts a big breath into the rib cage as he pushes his elbows into the ground, and he focuses like a wave with his breath. We're going to go through these. We're going to get into position for 45 seconds. Notice, before we start, both elbows, both hands, both knees, both toes, all push into the earth. And we're breathing big into the rib cage. Everything pulls towards center, elbows to each other, knees towards each other, drawing towards the abdominal. And as you exhale, the abdominal is actively engaging, pulling away from the ground. Every inhalation, the rib cage gets big. You ready? Relax it down, Eric. Ready for 45?
Let's do it.
We got our timer. Let's get into position. Legs are hip width apart, elbows in front of the shoulders, shoulder width apart. Both hands, elbows, knees and toes on the ground. We're going to look between our elbows. We've got 10 seconds before we start. Look down, start to pull your nose away from the ground, throat away from the ground. Push the elbows into the earth. Big breath in, and here we go. Hips are off the ground. We're pushing elbows, knees into the earth, breathing big into the back of the rib cage. Exhaling, engaging the abdominal. Think about squeezing the elbows to each other. Squeezing your knees towards each other, drawing all of that towards the belly button as you really breathe big into the back of the rib cage.
Halfway there.
15 seconds. Exhale, engaging your abdominal, pulling it away from the earth. Breathe big here. Expand the back of the rib cage. Exhale, engage the abdominal. Counting down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest it down, shake it off a little bit. You've got about 20 seconds. Relax the body. Don't go too far. 10 seconds. Let's start setting up again. Elbows just in front of the shoulders, legs hip width apart. Looking down, you're going to pull your nose away from the floor, throat. One big breath in as you push all 8 points of contact into the ground, and we're in position. Breath into the rib cage. Exhaling, engaging the abdominal, drawing it in. Think about lengthening, actively drawing the abdominals. You push the air out in the exhale. In through the nose, breathe really, really, really big and expansive into the ribs.
Halfway there.
As you exhale, push the air out. Start trying to blow a candle out and actively engage your abdominal with the exhale. Look how big Doc Goodman gets in that thoracic. Blow the candle out hard. 10 seconds. Elbows squeeze, knees squeeze, everything pulls towards center for 3, 2, 1. Relax it down. Shake it off for a second. So Doc, why do people want to get really good at this exercise?
The most important thing you're going to take away from the 8-point plank, in addition to abdominal strength and coordination, is a repositioning of the rib cage towards thoracic expansion, something I talk about a lot in foundation training. Go ahead and pop up. Let's show them. Pop your shirt off. You need to be able to see this stuff. You have to see the serratus muscles. You have to see the lat muscles. Show them a flared rib cage real quick. You don't want to get stuck here. Now show them kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. Too much rounding, which is a result of collapsing right in front of the diaphragm, right in front of some really important stuff, the solar plexus, a lot of the digestive areas. Upward lifting is what this 8-point plank and repositioning of the rib cage is about. Go pop into a founder and then take it to a forward fold so they can see that thoracic curve that I'm talking about. So this is just a stable position where the spine is kind of holding its active alignment angles. But as Jesse flexes down into a forward fold, we're going to really exaggerate the expansion and flexion of the part of the spine that is meant to expand and flex, where the rib cage is attached to it. A huge part of your lung volume occurs where I'm pushing on Jesse's back right here. That back edge of the rib cage is very important, but you need a lot of power to make it strong and flexible and movable as we get more and more used to sitting in chairs, using phones, and just kind of having crummy posture. The 8-point plank, the forward fold, and a number of other decompression breathing-based exercises in foundation training are sort of a strengthening active alignment fix to that breathing pattern. The better you get it, accurately moving the right parts of the muscles to accurately stabilize certain parts of the body, the better the whole body feels. Practice the 8-point plank all the time, practice the forward folds and founders, but really learn foundation training. Our work is corrective, it's meant to help you, and from the many, many people that have used it, it certainly seems to. Check out our streaming site, check out our certifications, check out our books. Feel well.